Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Nerd Days. This is the show where we talk about everything nerdy. My name is Mick. With me, as always, are my co-hosts, Josh.
What's up?
Corey.
Howdy.
And John.
Hello.
Welcome to the show, guys. If you like what you see here, please consider subscribing to the channel, share it with your friends, and give us a like down below. Today, we're going to start with some Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Are we doing spoiler talk?
We'll start with non-spoiler, and then we'll go into spoilers. 50% of us have watched it, so we're not batting 100.
And 25% of us have been told what the movie's like.
Oh, true.
That is true.
Yeah.
So we're at a 75% of knowing what happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Mick and Corey are basically they both watched it, so they're gonna kind of give us our first impressions of it, what they thought, non-spoiler first. They'll give us their rating, and then we'll kind of talk about some spoiler stuff. So yeah, what do you guys think?
Man, overall, the experience of the movie was very interesting because the movie, in my mind, was very inconsistent with tone. And so from the start, it kind of threw me off with how I was trying to watch the movie. The stuff that was good in my mind was really good, like very, very good, especially looking back at, the past phase 4. The bits and pieces of it were awesome. Unfortunately, it's mixed with so much, typical undercutting joke stuff, Marvel humor that just, it didn't mix well with what the main storyline is of the movie. And to me, it really just threw my whole watching experience off. I think there is like a really good movie in here somewhere, but yeah, unfortunately it's mixed with stuff that I didn't really care about. But in terms of like the third Guardians of the Galaxy, for like the final chapter in the trilogy, I think it does its job. It definitely feels like the last movie in the trilogy. It feels like people have moved on, characters have moved on. So in that retrospect, I think they did it pretty well.
So it does wrap it up nicely, you think?
I would say so.
So fans of Guardians of the Galaxy will kind of be satisfied with the way
I do think concludes. So, yeah. It's a long movie. I think it's too long, especially going back to some parts I didn't like, which seemed to take up most of the movie, unfortunately. But, if you like cool action, I'd say there's a lot of fun action beats in the movie, a lot of fun set pieces, a lot of really weird set pieces as well, but it's James Gunn, so that's pretty much what you're gonna get. But yeah, I guess as far as non-spoilers, that's all I feel really comfortable saying. I will say the music.
Feel at liberty to say.
Don't want to get sued. The music choices were definitely the worst out of the other two movies.
I heard that too.
I agree with that. Yep.
They felt like they had no input. Like the only one that really fit was the very first song.
Yeah, that was good.
And then after that, it just really didn't seem like
there's one other one that worked near the end, but all the other ones were pretty not great.
Yeah, because if you look back to the first and second movie, at least those songs that James Gunn chose, they really intertwined with like the plot of the movie and they fit really well. Mm-hmm. It felt like he was just like, these are the songs that I had in my back pocket.
It's like I'm running out of songs.
The last 10 years.
These are the ones that we had the rights to.
Just throw these in. So that was kind of disappointing.
And they went a little newer. They went to the 90s. So
there
was newer.
And even 2000s, right?
At the very end,
a little bit. Yeah.
You telling me Nickelback's in there?
Oh, man, I wish.
Close though.
That would have been the saving grace. Yeah, well, and
makes me laugh.
And in Guardians 2, he gets a
as
Zune.
he's looking at a photograph.
He gets a Zune, and so on there, that's how he had the new music. Because I heard some people like, how did he get the new music?
He's got
it does fit
a whole library of them.
Yeah,
so kind of a mixed bag for you then.
Definitely a mixed bag, yeah. But I would rate like the main story that's going through the movie. I would rate it very high because I was not expecting it. And it definitely hit me very hard emotionally too, which again was like out of nowhere for me.
No, I was just gonna see what Corey thought.
Honestly, I think Marvel movies are like, for the past 2-3 years, they lowered the bar so much that this movie, in my opinion, was actually pretty good. Like he has good takes where he's like, yeah, some of these story beats were all over the place thematically and also like just mood wise. Like it was just like up, down, random. But like the writing of this, like the main story you're talking about, it was good. And he said he got emotional. Me too. When's the last time you got emotional at a Marvel movie?
Never.
It's been a Endgame. That's the right answer.
Not Wakanda Forever.
Oh yeah.
Did you watch that?
No, I watched. See, here's the problem. When you have kids and you're watching something on Disney Plus and you can't focus, you can't connect as much.
Come over to my place and watch it.
Every time I'm driving and the Rihanna song comes on, I shed a little tear. Raise me up.
No, but I think it was actually pretty good. Okay. It was probably the best Marvel movie in the last 3 years. When did Shang-Chi come out?
2 years ago?
Was that 2 years ago?
21, right?
Was that 21?
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe, I don't know. I think this is a little bit better maybe with Shang-Chi. But yeah, no, I think it was actually pretty good. But yeah, it's hard because if you like the side characters, this movie is for you, I think. Also it's a very high Rotten Tomatoes score, so the audience really liked it. But that's because I think people really enjoy these side characters a lot, and they get a lot of screen time. And they all have their own moments, and there's just a different dynamic in this group in this movie, and so it's interesting. It's like kind of changed up a little bit. So, but it was cool. I think some of the characters that come in here, that's not a spoiler, is Adam Warlock is here. That's in the trailer. Yeah. Interesting is what I can say. It was not what I was expecting necessarily, but it was kind of cool to have at least light shed on that whole situation where it's like Adam Warlock's in that sarcophagus, he's being developed, whatever. Like, okay, now we understand what happened. Okay, cool. But yeah, I think generally it was good. Yeah, if you enjoy Marvel movies specifically and you're okay with kind of the randomness of the ups and downs of funny haha and then serious, haha, serious, then I think you'll really enjoy this movie a lot.
Yeah, Anne, who listens to the show, she went and watched it with Melissa, and what she kind of said, going along with what you mentioned, is she's like after watching Ant-Man, she's like, this is a great movie, but she's like, but I'm not.
I need to watch that.
but she's like, but I'm not sure. She's like, I'm on the fence. I still don't know if I liked it, and she really likes her favorite Marvel movie is the first Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
And so she's a big fan, and so she was kind of on the fence. She's like, the more I think about it, like, okay, did I like it? Did I not? Because I think, like you're saying, Mick, there's kind of a mixed bag there. Like, there's certain things you like that feel like Guardians of the Galaxy, and certain things that you're kind of.
I will stand by the fact that the writing and the main story was rock solid and very good.
Okay.
I think that the side quest stuff and maybe some of the extra detail stuff, like the floof of the movie, not for me.
The floof of the movie.
Not for me. But the core of this movie was rock solid. And I think, Josh, you'll like this movie better than maybe him,
Of course. That's given.
Because of the dynamics that are there and kind of what the story is all about. So, but I actually told Bree that I think she'd like the movie a little bit. So I think she'd enjoy it. We're actually going to go see it this next weekend for Mother's Day for my mom.
Oh, nice.
I'm going to go see it with my mom on Saturday. So, but I think she'll like it.
Nice.
But overall, I'd probably give it, I don't know, maybe like 7.5, 7.6, something like that.
Okay.
It's pretty good.
I'd probably give it a 7, I think.
And then how does it rate as far as the previous Guardians of the Galaxy movies? Like, is this the least favorite?
I mean, I haven't watched the other two in quite a while. I'd probably still say the first one's probably the best one.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree.
But, I mean, the
Number 2 was not my favorite.
no.
It was probably my
that.
least favorite one. It goes like 1, 3, 2 for me.
Okay.
I'd probably say that too, yeah.
I haven't even seen it, and I'm going to put it 1, 3, 2.
I'd put money on the fact that you put it 1, 3, 2.
if you're listening to this or watching, and you've watched Guardians of the Galaxy 3, let us know in the comments what you thought. If you agree with these gentlemen, if you disagree, whatever it is, drop your score in there as well. Might as well. We can compare scores. We're going to go into some spoilers now. So if you haven't watched it, go watch it. Come back and watch this. So spoilers, you've been warned.
Yes.
So
Official.
I heard that through multiple sources.
Wow.
I'm kind of a big deal.
Her wife and a friend.
But that the animal cruelty stuff, right? They say there's some
I mean, what?
experiments on animals.
It's literally, yeah.
So what I heard is that it's pretty intense, right? And so if you're going in that, was that something that bothered you guys, or was it okay with you guys?
It didn't bother me because it was part of the story they were telling. And I think the fact that it wasn't just like the animal cruelty part. It's the fact that these animals also were like becoming aware.
They became sentient. That's the problem. Yeah, and like, that's good.
No, that's great.
Oh.
And literally like the first thing Rocket says is like,
sentient animals.
Well, that's what I was going to say. If they're torturing animals that aren't sentient, I'm good with it. As soon as they're sentient, no way, dude.
Yeah, dude.
That's where I draw the line.
Dude, it's messed up, bro. They like having relationships with each other, like not
They're having relations?
like they're friends.
Okay.
pals. Yeah.
And they're like, they've got camaraderie and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Dude.
Well, that was we talked about the scenes the clips they dropped. And I hated all the ones they dropped that were the humor ones. And the one I did like were the ones with the...
That was the fluff I was talking
All
about.
of that, all of that was terrible. And unfortunately, I feel like most of the like.
Well, I will say, did you hate? So the one where they're at the car, that stupid like, oh, you got to press the button. But the scene before that, when they're in the house with the family, they're like trying to figure things out. Did you hate that as well?
It kind of, to me, it went along a little too long.
It wasn't as bad as I thought it'd be, but it felt almost like a waste of time.
Oh, definitely.
You know what I mean? Like,
well, and the fact that they kept on like going back to Drax, same joke, and going back to this.
That's the Marvel way,
they
right?
Exactly. Yeah. And I've been pretty vocal about
it gets old,
not really
right?
liking it. But no, like so the main story is basically figuring out Rocket's past, and he gets really injured in like the very beginning of the movie.
Like critical state.
Adam Warlock flies in, and I'll say this about Adam Warlock: totally wasted in the movie.
That's what I heard too.
Well,
yeah. I feel like the character has a lot of potential, and it was like, I don't know what he was really doing in the movie. He was very like passive and everything, except for like the very first scene in the movie.
I was gonna say,
so
you're like roasted, dude.
Yeah, so that was kind of a bummer because I think that he could be a really cool character, and maybe
there was such a big buildup for him too, right?
Yeah. And maybe we'll see more of him in the future.
No, I was just going to say, does it feel like they just put him in the movie because they're like, oh, shoot, we kind of teased that he was going to be in this
that's
one.
how it felt for me.
So let's put him in there and, okay.
The thing is that, what are they called? The Sovereign, the Golden People, who have Adam Warlock there. They were created by the guy who created Rocket.
Okay.
What was his name?
Evolutionary?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And so that's how they're linked to this story. So Rocket Raccoon and them. And so he got pulled out. This is how I think they explain how he's not as powerful as he should be. He got pulled out of that cocoon thing early.
Yeah.
So it's like, that sucks. Because we know how cool Adam Warlock can be in these comics. He looks awesome. And I'm going to be honest, it's hard to kind of look past that gold painted face.
It was a little
It
distracting.
just felt a little too like fakey TV kind of style outfit. So that didn't hit super well for me. Also, kind of his journey was also not great.
I felt like he just like showed up.
He was a
when
tool.
the plot needed him.
He was a plot tool for sure.
And that happened multiple times. It was like, nothing's happening with the plot. Oh, here comes Warlock. Okay.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting how they kind of make him like, oh, he's the bad guy. He's going to try to take Rocket Raccoon. But then in the end, it's like, oh, they showed me grace and like kindness. Okay, now I'm a good guy now. Yeah. So it's like cool, I guess, but I think they just didn't do it super well. So I think they spent all their writing on Rocket's story. It was so good. That was so good. It felt, dude, I don't know if I'm being crazy about this, but it felt like Toy Story to me. I don't know why.
I was gonna say it felt like some like messed up episodes of Love and Robots.
Okay, yeah, I get what you're
I
saying.
love Death and Robots.
So they're doing all this experimenting on these animals and stuff like that, and they're trying to make them sentient or whatever. But yeah, he gets to hang out with these other tested animals, and they create bonds and stuff like that. That's where this story goes right, in my opinion. It is kind of weird, like having these like almost mutant animals with like bionic arms and stuff, but they have personalities, and you know
they give themselves names.
Yeah. That is like, it just felt kind of like Toy Story in that they're smaller, but they're sentient where they're not supposed to be sentient. And so like that's what gave me the Toy Story vibes, and also the idea of like, at the end of it, it's like we got to get out of here, and seeing kind of the journey that Rocket has to go through. It was messed up.
So messed up.
It made me feel feelings, you know? And so, by the result of, the evolutionary guy, basically all of his best friends just get murdered in front of him. And he blames himself basically for it because he defied him because he knew they were going to get killed the next morning, basically, because they were failed experiments. But it is cool because you get to see his journey and that's why he was so hardened, you know, emotionally before. I know we're talking about this like raccoon guy, but dude, in this one, he's awesome.
He really is.
And dude,
like
you
the heart
connect
of the
with him, and at the end, he becomes a bad A because he's like almost on the edge of just dying and going to heaven or wherever. And it's like they save him at the end, and he's just this bad A ready to go, and it's just sick. I think his story was just the best part about this movie. Everything else was just weird. I didn't like how they did the Gamora. I don't like what they're doing with Gamora. I kind of get what they're doing, where they're like Quill and her. He's trying to rekindle something.
I used to be in a relationship with you,
and she's like, that didn't happen to me. You know?
Yeah, I'm so torn about it because on one hand, I'm glad that they stuck to what they decided to do with her. Like it wasn't just like, oh, Gamora died in Infinity War. That was like a huge sacrifice, and then they just brought her back and everything's fine. Like I feel like there actually has been consequences from like the original Gamora dying to now this new one, because she is a completely different character, even completely different than she was in Endgame. I feel too much. She felt like just a totally different person than we had seen before. But yeah, she was on the side of things I really didn't care for about the movie. And I felt like the movie had quite a few like subplots too that I could have just done without. But as far as the High Evolutionary goes, I think for the most part, he was a great villain.
He was good. Cruel.
Very cruel, sadistic, creepy. Really got his comeuppance.
Yeah. And they made him like, there have been movies in the past that we just don't see good villain development where they make you want to hate them. I feel like oftentimes they're doing this gray, see how the villain's justified in their decisions? Can't you understand? Isn't that funny? Isn't that crazy how life is? It's like, no, dude.
They try to make them relatable.
Yeah, and it's like in this movie they didn't do that. So credit to them. They made people hate him because of what he did. So it was good. I think the basic of this movie was great. But yeah, all the extra stuff, not my cup of tea. Some of the side plot, like side questy kind of stuff, was kind of cheesy and a little jokey, a little too jokey. But like they have a side quest basically to get into this, like a bioscientist base.
It's pretty much like an organic.
Looks like a butthole.
It's like an organic planet thing.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's so,
I think they
spent too much time there. That was a problem too. That was part of the pacing issue. Was like, I think it was like 30 minutes of the movie was spent.
That's when they're in their suits, right? Where it's like the yellow.
Yeah, that's how they get in.
Yeah, was the yellow and the green is the.
Which, by the way, was not funny.
Yeah, funny when I saw the clip.
I'll wait till I see it.
It's the clip I showed you last week.
I know when I see it in context. It's probably gonna be funnier.
Yeah, when you're in the theaters.
Yeah.
You're not going to theaters. But yeah, no, I think it's around a 7 something. quality wise. I think if you really enjoy that up and down of levity with the comedy stuff, you're gonna love this movie. But yeah, just for me, a little too much, but it's cool. What'd you think of kind of how they summed up the ending? That was interesting. It's like they're trying to close out this, because I mean, the rumor has it that this is the last one officially.
So I think each character that supposedly isn't coming back, I think they have a good enough send off where you as the viewer believes that, like, okay, that character's done in the movies. Like Drax,
Dead. They all
Good send off. Decapitated.
like he's a family man now, I guess.
He always was. That's the point.
Yeah. Gamora is going off. In this movie, she was with the Ravagers.
She joined them.
She joined them, I guess, after Endgame or something. And that's who she was with, basically, with the whole movie. And then she went back with them at the end.
Yeah, they had this weird, like, emphasis on showing how happy she was to be with them. To, like, let you guys know, don't have any hope for them, like Quill and her. She's happy.
Yep.
I thought that was an interesting choice. It was kind of interesting.
If anything, throughout the movie, it seemed like they were dropping hints that Star-Lord and Nebula were going to be a thing.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure at some point in the comics they have been. I mean, I feel like everybody at some point is. But that didn't really go anywhere.
Yeah,
maybe it will, but who knows?
Maybe it Quill.
Wow.
Got me.
Got him. Got him.
You belong in a Marvel movie, Josh.
See how I do this, guys? When other people say stupid jokes, I laugh at it for the sake of the audience to feel like
Oh,
we're
are you
funny.
saying I should have laughed?
When I
Sorry.
say no, what I'm saying is when I do something stupid, you guys just look at me. So a little chuckle would be nice
I got you
for
next
future
time.
reference.
Next time.
Okay. We'll spot you one.
But yeah, nobody on the Guardians died. There were some fake outs and maybe some deaths, but no.
It was interesting. They kind of summed up Quill a little bit. He goes back to Earth, finds his grandpa.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. He's gonna hang out with his gramps, I guess.
We find out that his grandpa is actually Iron Man that went back and Steve Rogers that aged.
Yep.
Full circle.
Wait, is Iron Man or Captain America?
Did I say Iron Man?
Yeah, then you said
Oh,
it.
my bad, guys. Captain America.
There we go.
That's why I
belongs
said
in the
Steve
What If
Rogers.
series.
I was like, is it the same person? But yeah, and then they kind of have a post. Well, they have was it mid credit where it's like showed the new Guardians of the Galaxy, so that they were basically like, "Oh, Rocket, you should be the leader," and they're all like, "Yeah."
Yeah, I heard that was lame.
What that
Someone complained
that
about that. I saw someone on the internet because it's isn't it?
Wait,
You saw
the
someone
scene at
complain
the
about it
end?
on the internet?
The scene at the end, or
I'm
when they
shocked.
dubbed him leader?
No,
Which
the new Guardians, because isn't
so that
James Gunn's brother's in it? Isn't he one of them?
I think he was technically in it already.
Yeah, he was technically.
And then
Yeah.
his
kind of
wife's in
already.
it too, right?
No.
Who's his
Or-
wife?
But in
His-
the movie,
His wife was she was in the movie.
Yeah.
She was the
This
chick
guy is
that was in
anti-James
the
Gunn
butthole
agenda.
place. And she was
The
like,
red skin,
no, white.
white skin.
Had like a white cap on. Or
The old
something.
white
Oh, wait.
white skin.
Oh,
she's the girl that's in the Suicide Squad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was her.
That's in the girl that's in every DC movie.
Wait, did
now.
she survive that?
I think so. I don't think they killed her.
Okay, all right.
Of course, he's not going to kill his wife. She's got to be in the next Marvel movie
Right,
and
right.
DC movie.
Right,
No,
right.
but the new Guardians are.
That's not. She wouldn't really kill her.
No, I'm saying like those characters he needs to keep the characters alive so they can.
So the new Guardians are Groot, Rocket, Kraglin, some girl that they rescued
Who
from.
apparently is probably either Marvel powered or like mutant.
Yeah, we don't really know.
Her eye shine.
That was the other
and then
thing.
she had like
Jubilee.
prism type stuff.
That was the other thing.
It almost
I
looked like
think
Jubilee.
basically what the High Evolutionary was trying to do was do human animal hybrids, because they literally go to like Earth 2 basically,
It was
and it's
counter Earth.
counter Earth, and it's populated with these animal human hybrids.
They're hybrids. Yeah, it was weird.
It was kind of
The
good.
neighborhood scene was so weird. Seeing that
so
panda and that like polo shirt, I was like,
So weird.
see, those are the scenes that just don't work.
Yeah, it felt really, really odd.
You know,
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, are we at a furry convention?
Yeah.
You know?
So she was one of the kids that was rescued. So she's on the team now.
Yeah.
Is that it?
And Groot, mega huge.
And Groot, yeah.
He's giant. He became just a freaking monster.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. Groot was one of the characters in the whole movie that kind of was just, he seemed like he was there for the,
I liked Groot.
there for the ride. He wasn't bad or anything,
He's
but
awesome.
it was just, he's just there.
Yo, he spoke real words, bro. I mean,
Vin
besides I am
Diesel
and Groot.
getting more money.
He said, this is a big spoiler, guys. He said, I love you guys.
Yeah.
I love you guys.
Yeah.
He said that.
Wow. We waited
Huge.
that. They better not to pull the same thing with Baby Yoda.
I love you guys.
Yeah.
Oh, he has such a low
First
voice.
words. They're like, yeah,
That's who they
what
should get
be
the
his
voice of,
first
Vin
word?
Diesel.
Yeah.
I love you guys.
I love you guys.
But
Family.
yeah, overall, I mean, it's really hard to separate all the crap that I didn't like from the main story, which was put in the movie in 5-minute little chunks throughout the whole movie, because it was all told in flashback. Because basically, present day Rocket is out of it for most of the movie because he gets injured in the beginning, and then they're trying to save him.
Did they put him in a
back
back to tank? Is that why they
They didn't think about it. No.
They couldn't, bro. They couldn't.
Um,
Well, the funny part is the whole reason for this whole story is that he's critically
Damaged.
fatigued and damaged. Yeah. And they can't actually work on him because he's password protected, basically. His system, what would it be
he has
called?
a fail safe.
It's like a fail safe, so they have to go back to the creator because he was technically supposed to be there, but he escaped. So that's the whole premise of the whole thing. So he's just unconscious the whole time for 48 hours, and it's just flashbacks of his story. And that was the strongest part.
Yeah.
Were these flashbacks of his when he was a little guy, little raccoon. He's a cute little guy. You're gonna love it, dude.
Dude, I love raccoons, bro.
They're so-
I'm
They're
bonded
so
to the
cute.
raccoons.
Bonded with the
They're
raccoon.
so
And
cute.
it does
We
turn
ended
out he's actually a raccoon.
from North America,
Yeah.
as opposed to
Well, I mean,
South American
throughout the whole,
which we'll call
Yeah, he always says,
tlacuaches.
I'm not a
right. He always says he's not, and he always says he's something else, which technically is like a mix, but he is a raccoon.
Anyway.
Nice. Anything else on the movies you guys want to cover? Or
No, that's pretty much it.
I would say this is the least kid friendly Marvel movie
yeah,
in terms of some of the themes, and some of the visuals are pretty
and an F-bomb dropped.
and the F-bomb. Yeah, I guess it's the first F-bomb in the MCU.
I won't be watching now.
Man, kids here worse, dude.
They really
That's a good that's like
They do.
Bad.
Um,
Sad to say.
but I mean, there's a pretty kind of gruesome scene with the High Evolutionary when you see him last.
Oh, yeah. He's skinned, basically.
Yeah.
His face is skinned. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah,
He just looks like Red Skull.
but way gross.
That's a-
Yeah.
Yeah.
But maybe remove some layers of
Well, if you
skin.
think that F-bomb was bad, just wait till you watch Oppenheimer.
Oh, God. That's an A-bomb.
Thank you. Come on, Josh. I can't go. Yeah.
Anyway,
That's what you use it on? Gosh, dude.
Hey, I thought it was good enough to elicit a laugh without having this.
it was pretty awesome.
Yeah, pretty good. Let us know what you thought of Guardians of the Galaxy. And yeah, subscribe
3.
and like Volume 3. We're going to move on to Star Wars Visions is the next thing that came out. All 9 episodes dropped on May the 4th. I don't think Mick's been able to watch
I
it.
totally forgot about him, so I did not watch
Corey's
it.
watched
Did you not
most.
celebrate May the 4th?
It really went by in a flash for me.
Okay.
Don't know what happened to my day.
It happens.
Yep.
When you get older, you got responsibilities.
Well, let's talk about it then.
Yeah, let's do it. I don't think we'll really go into much spoilers. We can talk about stuff.
I mean, there's not really much.
Yeah, it's just
Not really much.
Is it still like an anthology type of series where
yeah, it's just kind
random
of
stories?
different
Random stuff.
random stories.
Okay.
So for me, the first 3 episodes I thought were really good. I was like, man, it's one after another that I really enjoyed.
Wait, was the first 3 including the mom Racer.
That's the fourth.
That's the fourth.
Okay. All right. I was
So
gonna
the
pounce
first
on
three,
you.
the first one was the one that was the really cool art style,
Yeah. It was
with like
called
painting.
Sith.
The
Yeah.
Sith one, and then the second one was Screecher's Reach, which I really liked that one.
Mm-hmm.
That one I thought was really cool, and then the third one,
In the Stars.
In the Stars.
Which one was that one?
It's
That was
the
the
more,
stop motion one
Oh, yeah.
with the
yeah,
two
yeah.
girls.
Yes,
sisters.
that was actually
So
cool.
I really like
That was
those
actually good.
three, and I was like, oh, this is starting off really strong, and then it kind of went a little down from there. The Wallace and Gromit one was okay.
Trash.
It felt like Wallace and Gromit. You'll like
That was the one I was looking forward to most.
it. And then there was
Didn't feel
the
like
Cheese in it.
the one that was kind of more
Space
anime
cheese.
style. I like that one.
Which one? Oh,
Which one was it? What was it
Journey
called?
to the Dark Head.
Yeah, Journey to the Dark Head. I really liked that one and the style.
yeah, I like that one too.
And then after that, the Buruka, or what's the one was the Indian studio.
That one's called The Bandits of Golok.
Yeah.
Oh, that one. They tried to do arcane style.
Yeah, and I don't know. I didn't really like the aesthetic of that one as much. And then
Except the end was cool.
The end was
was
the
cool.
end was the best part.
That episode.
That was one of the best scenes of the whole thing.
yeah,
But that was it.
But before
Everything
that, I was
before
like,
that, I was like,
okay.
eh, it's okay.
And the other one, I didn't like the style of it, but I thought it was was the dancer one,
The Spy Dancer.
the spy dancer, the French studio.
That was okay.
I didn't like the animation of it. I thought the story was kind of cool, and like how
You didn't like the animation of it? I thought that
Not
was one of the
really.
most unique
I thought it
parts
was
of
cool,
it.
yeah.
It's very special, actually.
I thought it was unique, but I didn't like the look of it.
huh.
That makes sense. Like
Okay.
the stormtroopers.
So you don't like good-looking things? No,
I
I'm
don't
just- I'm
think it
just
looked-
joking.
I
You don't like unique things.
Really?
Huh?
That's
think
great.
it looked
I
like
actually thought it was a very beautifully animated, like drawn. You could tell it's like hand drawn, and it looked really good, very flowy. All the frames were very smooth, and it was because it was dancing, right? And it was just a huge
Yeah.
spectacle, and
that
that's
was
surprising.
cool. I'm thinking
surprised you
more of
didn't
the
like it.
character models. Like
Oh, okay.
the stormtroopers were their masks.
Yeah, yeah,
were-
yeah.
Like the characters had really thin heads,
like
but
how
like
the big
really
boss
huge
guy
bodies. And so it just
Big body, small head.
Yes, and so
I
I
didn't like that.
no, not a big fan of.
I actually liked
Big
how
bodies with
her
small heads.
Spoiler. Son looked. He looked
Yeah,
cool,
that was
and I
sweet.
love the idea that he had the patch on, and then the reveal with the other. That was cool.
'Cause they
I
took
don't
his-
know. When you don't have much time to work with, I actually thought it was actually pretty decent.
Yeah.
But I feel you. It was a different animation draw style, like art style. The animation of it, like the actual animating of it, was actually good in my opinion. But art style, I'm with you. It's like how I don't like Wallace and Gromit style art.
Yeah.
So that's just preference stuff. So what was the one after? Oh, there was a pit
The
one.
pit, yeah, I didn't
That was
I didn't like the animation on that one either.
You didn't like it? I actually didn't mind it. I liked the general story. It was just it was like almost empty. Like there wasn't enough to it.
Yeah,
Like it was like origin story of a potential Force user, which is cool. Like his sister or
Yeah.
whatever. It's like the story of the guy who climbed and he did all this sacrifice for them. But
that scene was pretty crazy.
I liked the
I
general
wasn't expecting
story.
that.
I liked it.
I wasn't expecting when there's like,
Yeah,
like someone's gonna save him.
No, yeah, that was,
Yeeted,
that
bro.
was sick, dude.
Sorry, spoilers.
Um,
Mick's not even listening. We're good.
he doesn't care, dude. I didn't actually mind that one. I agree with
I know,
you.
I thought it was
so
okay.
different from any Star Wars you see because there was nothing necessarily Star Wars from it, except for
No.
the fact that there were people being persecuted and they had to
And stormtroopers.
overcome.
No, so I guess it's not. I'm gonna do a bad job of describing.
Was that
this.
an Indian studio you said?
No, the Baruki one was.
Okay.
What was they called
But
them?
this one, Paduk.
What's the kid's name?
Paduk.
I don't remember what his name is. She
She
was
would always
like,
be like, "Oh, Krokuki
but
or
this-
Buruki."
The pit one though was probably what? Was it a Japanese studio?
I think it was. Yeah.
So any of these that looked Japanese style, like drawn, like anime
One of
style,
your favorites.
I switched it to Japanese and listened to them
Okay.
and read, and those experiences were better for me. So I did that on Journey to the Dark Head, that one, and then one of the first ones was kind of anime-esque, right?
the very first one.
The very
was.
first one. But that was a French studio.
The first one
I
was,
watched that in English.
Yeah, the first one was a Spanish studio.
Oh, that's what it was. That was a super hyper artistic.
Yeah. Well, so the reason I say I don't like the animation
On the dancer
on
one?
the pit and the dancing one
okay.
is some of the movements. I know that's like it's just a style of the animation, but some of the movements aren't as fluid, and so
I would say that on the Indian one, especially when on some of the train scenes specifically, very awkward movement.
Yeah.
Almost slidey.
and like the speeders come,
Oh, the speeder of physics made no sense.
Yeah.
It was like,
and so
like
it was
weird.
those things. Not that I'm like, oh, it's the style
Yeah,
or
yeah,
whatever.
but you noticed
But
it.
it was kind of like, okay, like it's just not my favorite.
Sure.
And I like Journey to the Dark Head and all those other ones. They felt like they had like polished movements and it
Very crisp,
but
very
the
clean.
pit especially and the Indian one
Yeah.
and the French one, it felt like it was more choppy and like the animal comes out of the pit and it's like and does something and then it like
Sure.
so that kind of stuff. I was like, it's still, I enjoyed it, but it was like I don't know, it wasn't my favorite.
Well, that one might not be fully hand animated, so that might be actually computer animated. But but I like the story.
Yeah, the story was cool.
That's honestly, that's the only thing I really care about in these little shorts. What can you do with 10, 15 minutes? Can you actually engage me into it and get me invested in 15 minutes? That's pretty impressive if you can. Which in some of them I was invested. I think the one I got most invested in was probably the one with the water plant with the stars one.
Yeah.
I liked that one because it was like this idea of like, oh, our mom was so great and like this legend
Yeah, that
kind of
was really
aspect
cool.
of it. And the sister being like, nah, that's not going to do anything for us.
Yeah.
And the little girl believing. And I just love that aspect of Star Wars, I think, in general. So it was cool.
Yeah, I think I'm a sucker for Visions. Like, I loved the first season. This one,
I love the first season. So much.
this one I liked. Even the ones that I dislike, like that I didn't like as much, I still
Enjoyed watching.
I love all the different animation styles. I
Yeah.
love the different perspectives they bring. I know a lot of people are like, "Well, it's not canon. That's dumb." I'm like, "Well,
cares?
it doesn't have to be. Like, you're allowed to explore different points of views in the Star Wars universe."
Yeah.
And I just really enjoy specifically the different art styles that they bring in. I thought that was really cool, especially this season.
People who don't like this are probably people who don't enjoy like fan like custom made stuff, you know, where there's like fan like trailers and stuff like that. Like, oh, a Darth Maul, like you guys have seen that YouTube video with like the Darth Maul movie,
Yeah.
where he's just like fighting and stuff. It's like that stuff gets me hyped, you know, even though it's not canon, it's not real, but the idea of a possible different story, different planet, different world out there, that's cool.
Yeah. I mean, even like the Aardman one, I'm like,
Which one was that one?
the claymation one.
Oh,
The I Am
Wallace
Your
and
Mother,
Gromit.
the Wallace and Gromit one. I'm like, I still enjoyed it because I love Wallace and Gromit. So it's like, Wallace and Gromit's take on Star Wars. Awesome. Cool. I enjoyed it.
yeah.
And
but-
Wedge was
Wedge.
Oh my
Chantilly's,
god.
baby.
It's pretty
Best
awesome.
Wedge can that. Hey, to me that's canon.
It's canon, dude.
It is outrageous. Wedge is like the biggest D-bag ever. It's like, I'm amazing. It's nuts. You're right. I like, even though I don't like that animation style, I can appreciate it, and I still watched it all.
Yeah.
I still enjoyed it.
yeah,
Still
and I
fun to
like
watch.
I thought it was funny. There were some funny parts, like with the Wookiee with the
Oh yeah,
stuffed animal and that kind of
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Like that stuff was pretty good.
Yeah.
Did you guys like? I think you guys liked the first season better. You liked the first season better.
Yeah. Well, not 100%, but yeah, I like it better. Like I'd put probably like Vision's first season like 9, and this one's like in the 8s. So
yeah,
not by much.
when I started watching this, like I said, the first 3, I was like, oh my gosh, this is. I'm
Awesome.
liking the first 3 better, and then the last half of them I didn't like as much. So I would think. I
How
do
was the
think
last one,
the
by the
first
way?
season. I like the last one a lot.
I didn't get to watch that one, but
Yeah, it's stop motion. Also,
Uh-huh.
it's more of like, I would say, kind of like a cute story
Okay.
than like that was amazing. But it's cool.
not epic. Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. And I think
cool.
there's the whole theme. I think the theme throughout Visions 2 was kind of the aspect of like leaving
and
your family,
Yeah.
sacrificing, like, because
Yeah,
that happens a
there were
lot
some
in a lot of these where it was like, okay, we're
overlapping
doing that
themes.
again.
Yeah.
But I think
Which is Star Wars, you know, it's very Star Wars.
I think my favorite one was Screecher's Reach. I really liked that one.
Which one was that again?
That was the second one. And that's like an Irish studio.
Yeah.
I really
What was
like
your favorite part of that?
Well, the music in that was
the music
really
was good.
cool.
Yeah.
And I just really liked kind of...
Was there anything like unique about it?
I liked the interactions with the kids. Like the dialogue. I thought the voice acting was really well done in that one specifically. And just how the animation I just thought was really cool too. And so that whole aspect of it, even the whole Sith character in there and kind of that reveal of stuff that was happening, I thought was really cool. So that one I thought got me the most excited. I was like, man, if there's going to be other ones, because I thought the story was really good.
I agree with you, because for me personally, the first one wasn't my favorite. I can appreciate what they did with that story, because that was so... Actually, honestly, that was the craziest animation wise.
Yeah.
Not story wise, but yeah, animation wise, that was out of this world. Like, it is so... I don't think I could have imagined that. You know?
Yeah.
So that was so creative. But it wasn't like, oh, this is Star Wars. You know what I mean? But that second one, that got me hyped for sure.
Yeah. I still would say probably the first season is better than this one. And apparently season 3 is already in the works with different studios.
And I hope give me some more Japanese studios, bro. Give me some they probably won't do any like big time animation studios.
That would be cool if they did.
I don't know.
If they got like
give me Star Wars Goku, baby.
Anything, honestly. Yeah. Any of the big like animation studios from Japan would be sick. But I doubt that'll happen. But hey, there's lots of animation studios in the whole world, so let's get an Australian one out there, you know? Let's get
Put another shrimp on that Barbie.
Yeah, let's get a British one. Let's get a Russian one.
Wasn't there a British one in this one?
Was
Hardman.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Oh, well.
Check it off the list.
All right.
Is there anything else you wanted to say before we move on to something else, Choop?
No, I was just going to say Screecher's Reach, I think I really enjoyed. The Stars one, I think, was probably my favorite.
I love the Stars
I got
one.
a little teared up on that one. Then I really like Journey to the Dark Head. Like,
Me
just
too,
like
me too.
Too, yeah.
animation wise.
Rock solid.
And the Sith dude looked awesome
He looked
with like
sick.
his like mask thing that had
Also-
like cloth hanging down.
Yeah.
It was really cool.
Also, like the ring thing where they like fought and everything was awesome.
I also really, on that one specifically, I like the lore built in that
the
one.
music was good.
Where she's like, why, if we see these things, why can't we warn anybody?
She's
like that whole
questioning
thing. And then even the reveal of like, oh, like the dark side and the light side, it switches. Like they're the same.
interchangeable.
It's the same thing. I thought that was really cool. So that was a really close second to what I really liked.
Yeah, the Bandits one, the one from India, I thought looked cool.
Yeah.
I think the sister character was annoying to me, so it kind of like pulled me out of it. But like the stuff at the end totally made it
she
up.
Was
I was
annoying?
like, yeah, she was pretty annoying for me.
Voice. Yeah.
You're like, you idiot! Stop using your force powers.
Yeah, basically, I'm like, slap her, tell her to shut up. But yeah, the stuff at the end, I was like, okay, that's freaking. That was pretty sweet.
Awesome, dude.
So there was stuff, even the ones that was one. The pit one also, I think, was probably one of my least favorites actually.
Really?
That one and the Bandits of Golok, but there's still things that I liked in all of them. But yeah, that's the fight scene at the end of that Bandits one is pretty sweet.
Yeah, I thought story wise, the pit one was the most crazy, like most different than what we've seen. But not a lot happened.
Yeah.
It was all build up for like the last, maybe Force user. That's it. So, yeah, it was cool though. Man, give me more visions. I'm glad they
Keep it going.
already announced 3 because these are just fun. I wish they invested more time. You know, give me like 30 minutes or 25. 25. I'll take 25. But 15, 10? Was it around?
Somewhere like 18, but then
somewhere 18.
the credits were like 2 minutes.
No, I'm saying
so you'd be
of
like,
actual screen time. Yeah.
Yeah. Let us know if you watch Visions. And if you haven't watched Visions, I know some people think like Star Wars animation. If you don't watch Star Wars animation, you're kind of missing out on some pretty awesome storytelling. So
I think so too.
I'd suggest it really doesn't take that much time. If you want to watch something, you got 20 minutes to spare. It's just let me put on. Like I said, they're not all incredible. Maybe you're going to like one style over another, but it's worth watching. So let us know if you did watch it, what you thought of Visions. season 2? Did you like it more than season 1? We'd love to hear your comments on that. Let's move on to the next thing. We're going to discuss a couple trailers. Let's start with Dune, because I know people around this table are really hyped for Dune Part 2.
Dune Part 2. Darn.
So
Darn it. It's not coming out soon enough.
We finally got the trailer for it. I'm going to toss it over to Josh.
The champion of Dune.
Dune trailer.
I was really excited because coming off last episode where Jonah was just like dumping on Dune, you know what I mean? I was kind of feeling down. You know, I was like, man,
needed to pick me up.
Man, maybe it isn't good.
Yeah, and then
maybe Jonah's right.
Even the teaser the day before, I was like, oh, I'm getting hyped. And then the trailer hit, and I probably watched it like 10 times.
Really?
Yeah, I really like this trailer. And Jonah's already shaking his head right now, but he's a dang fool.
SMH.
Let me say, I've never said Dune was a bad movie. Never said that.
Oh, okay. Well,
True.
Fair enough.
True.
But yeah,
what do you like about the trailer?
I just like the build up to. I mean, I feel like normally I would be upset about this is like a big moment. It should be a big moment in the movie,
Right.
But for me, I was like, I already know he's gonna ride the freaking sandworm anyway. So seeing it in the trailer, I was like,
hypocrite. What a hypocrite.
what a hypocrite! What?
Nothing. Keep talking.
But he read the books.
Keep talking.
Yeah, I already know what's happening.
Keep talking, bro.
That's different. You know what I'm talking about. Corey knows what I'm talking about.
This guy definitely knows what I'm talking about.
Exactly. But yeah, so
Yeah.
and I imagine it's something that's going to happen in the very beginning or towards the beginning of the movie anyway. So it's not like it's this is the last thing we're going to see.
That could be the last thing. That happened in the first movie.
They do that all the time where they show things at the end.
They're not going to do that.
Ever seen Amazing Spider-Man where he fights Rhino?
But yeah, I mean, everything.
Good point.
Introducing the new characters that we're going to meet in this movie was cool. I'm
Elvis,
really,
right?
Elvis, exactly. I'm really interested to see kind of those shots of Elvis fighting. We're in black and white, so I'm wondering if those are kind of flashbacks that we'll see, and they're kind of using a different visual to kind of differentiate. But yeah, I'm super excited with everything I saw in the
So
trailer.
they copied Nolan with Oppenheimer because there's the black and white scenes in there.
Doesn't 300 have it? Like black and white scenes?
Didn't black and white movies have it first?
Did they?
Back in the day?
Yeah,
We're talking about
exactly.
flashbacks,
Maybe.
though.
I'm sure there were
Specifically to change
flashbacks in
it.
those back.
And they shot this movie
guarantee
all in
you.
IMAX,
Yeah.
so you know it's going to be good. Unlike,
Unlike?
Christopher Nolan
yeah,
did all his in IMAX.
yeah, well,
And his comes out first, so who's copying who?
yeah. I can't wait to see guys. I can't wait to see guys sitting around a coffee table in IMAX. Oh wow!
You copied my camera I used to film my movie.
Mick, what do you think of the trailer?
I really, really liked it. I enjoyed the first movie a lot, so I'm excited to see what comes next. I haven't read all of the book.
So you were spoiled that he rides the worm.
It depends on.
Hey, it's only one book.
It depends on how I think it's 2, isn't it?
There's like 10 Dune books.
Well, I mean the movie.
but this movie is split up into
just
it's
the first
one
two?
book.
But
It's
it's
the
covering
2
the first
movies.
one.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it depends on how that moment in the movie is played out. If it is played like it's a huge deal and they've been working towards it, I'll be kind of like, probably shouldn't have shown
You
that
gonna
in the
walk
trailer.
out?
Yeah.
I'm gonna walk out. I'm gonna give Jonah a high five.
yeah. Be like, you hated it too, man?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if it fits, then I'll be happy with it. But yeah, I mean the visuals are just amazing, and I loved all the visual effects from the first movie, which I'm sure they're just gonna be adding on to that again with this movie, and it does make me want to go back and finish the book for sure. But yeah, and hearing the score again, come on, Hans Zimmer,
I had to go.
that's right.
What do you think, Corey?
Oh, dude, when they did that one thing, I didn't watch it.
Hey, he doesn't want to get spoiled. I'm at a
You already
principal.
spoiled it. Oh, he's gonna be right, you worm. Are you kidding me, bro?
It's just a little
A
garden.
little worm, yeah.
Okay. Nah, I didn't get a chance.
Get some of that Marvel humor in there. You know?
That's right.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks cool. Again, I think the first Dune is a good movie. It's not a bad movie. The acting's great.
The first one
visuals are
looked
great.
cool too.
Let the
first
record
one looks-
show.
I gave it a high, I think I gave it an 8 something in my. I mean, I can go back and you can go back and listen to the podcast.
Gosh.
But it's just not a movie that has much rewatchability for me. So I'll go and watch this in theaters because I think Obviously, Hans Zimmer score, all that kind of stuff, the visuals, the world building, and I don't know anything about the story, so nice. I'm kind of curious to see what happens next. My biggest frustration with the first one is that I feel not much happened. They kept teasing this whole, like, he's having dreams about Tom Holland's girlfriend Zendaya, and
but you don't remember the snake walk? He's doing it right now. Yeah. You don't remember that part?
That wasn't a big thing for me. I mean, it was cool.
That was huge.
But
Hans
I just
Zimmer
think like
scored that scene.
I just feel like they were like teasing that, and then at the end of the movie, it's like, oh, okay, there she is. Oh, the movie's over, kind of thing. So I don't feel like there much happened. Just from my perspective. So I'm kind of curious to see what more happens. Yes, it felt like this movie had a lot of setup, and obviously when you're setting up a book so big as Dune, you have to do a lot of that legwork so that then the payoff's better. So hopefully this one for me has a better payoff. But I'm excited. I think the director does a great job with his movies. They always look great. So yeah, the trailer was like, okay, I'll watch that movie. But yeah. Cool. Anything else you want to add, Josh?
Are we going to get a lot of action in this next movie?
Yeah. All action.
No story,
100%
all
of the
action.
time.
Okay. No, he's not going to answer.
All gas, baby.
All gas, no brakes.
I mean, supposedly, even the director even said he was like, this is a war movie.
No, I'm saying, that's right. He did say that.
So a lot of the setup already happened in the first one. Cool. So
with slow bullets. War movie with slow bullets. I said that last episode, and people got upset.
Who did?
They actually aren't bullets that go slow. That's not how it works.
I mean, if you're gonna,
they're assassin like
it was like the bullets
mosquitoes or something like that.
It was a bug that got shot to kill people. Yeah, I get it. It was a joke, guys.
Bro, you wouldn't be able to fight them off.
I could tell it hasn't affected you.
Calm down.
Your jokes would be funny if they were more accurate.
Well, I'm just saying, guys.
Yeah,
humor is
Jonah. You're a bit ridiculous.
Blurs the lines. That's what humor does. The best kind of humor.
Dude, if we threw you in the middle of the Sahara Desert, you'd die. Okay, you have no chance.
Speaking of that,
I mean, these guys are doing the worm walk.
That's right.
And you don't even know how to do that. You die, dude.
Yeah,
you die like a cactus.
It comes out in November, right?
Yep.
Okay, so was that on your top 10 list?
No way it was. No way it was.
I don't think it was on anyone.
Nah.
It might have been.
Mario was on mine.
I think it was
too.
Yeah.
Fact check.
We'll find out.
At
At the end of the year when we revisit, we'll see who was right.
I'm pretty sure I had it on.
Next trailer we're going to be discussing is the GOAT himself, Christopher Nolan's Oppenheimer. This trailer was awesome, and I think this movie is going to be fantastic. So there's not much to say. Filmed in IMAX. There's no sand in sight, no dunes, no giant worms.
There was a lot of sand.
Well, yeah, but not like
Nevada.
aren't they doing this?
Yeah, but not like
not
alien
giant worms,
not
sand.
alien sand, guys, from another
There's no
planet.
spikes floating
this is
around.
like sand from the United States of America.
Boring sand.
Not from another planet.
So what was awesome about this trailer? Go ahead.
Yeah, what's so better? What was so better?
The whole aesthetic of this trailer, the sound design of this trailer is absolutely fantastic.
Really?
Like even how it opens and it does a little like all that kind of stuff.
Wow. That was amazing.
The visuals of it. I think the acting in this movie is going to be fantastic. The cast, we've talked about the cast for I think 2 years already. It's massive and it's going to be so good. I'm really intrigued on, again, if we talk about Dune, the black and white stuff, I'm intrigued about what's the black and white stuff contrasting with, like, is that going to be after the fact? All that's done like for history's sake, and then we're going to see his backstory in color. Like, I'm kind of curious to see how that works. So yeah, I just think the whole way this trailer is shot gets me excited for it. I thought it was really well done. I think the acting is going to be fantastic, and I mean, it's a team up movie. He's getting Albert Einstein, like it's like the Avengers. He's going to get Albert Einstein. He's going to go about all these other people.
He does have Iron Man in the
and
movie.
Then at the end of the movie, it's like Albert Einstein will return in Oppenheimer 2.
Nice. Well, wait. So I have a question. If black and white is back in time, shouldn't the whole movie be in black and white then?
Ooh,
got him. I don't know. This trailer wasn't much new stuff, so it's kind of a bunch of the same old. That's
I'm already excited for the movie.
Yeah. I don't think I
and
have
honestly,
too much more.
I really couldn't hear what the trailer was saying because you guys were talking. So,
Sorry.
you
didn't miss much.
apparently not.
We can't build this. What's gonna come next?
Wait, what are the odds it's going to blow up the whole freaking world?
Little to none.
Oh.
Is that what it was?
It was
I think it was
like
close to
I would have
zero.
preferred 0.
yeah, something like that.
Are you excited for the movie?
Yeah.
Guys, we can joke around and still like the movie.
I
you
just
guys. Oh my gosh!
I'm excited for this movie. On paper, this movie's like what?
You can't make fun of movies we like.
I know it's going to be amazing,
This is my problem.
but the trailer, it didn't knock my socks off.
Yeah, and it's good. They don't. They
I know
shouldn't
this
be revealed. Too
I
much.
know
We
this
what
movie's
it's
going to
about.
be great, but
Yeah.
I didn't watch this trailer and I was like, Matt Damon's in this. Matt freaking Damon's in this.
Einstein.
But then there's the same guy that rewatched the Dune trailer 20 times. 'Cause
You
throw
said
a guy on a worm, and then it's like,
Because
man,
it was
best
an
trailer
awesome
ever.
moment. And then the Hans Zimmer score jumped in when he was on there, and I was like, I got
Pumped him
a
up.
little goosebumps.
Pumped him up.
Nothing pumped me up for this Oppenheimer trailer.
Here's my problem.
Except for that whatever sound you made,
This
bro.
guy's making throat noises.
Oh.
Go rewatch that trailer, and that sounds in it.
The sound design in this trailer's incredible.
I will say, do you know? Here's the problem, guys.
With what?
When we joke around about this kind of stuff,
Yeah.
like when Josh is constantly being like making fun of
Yeah.
Nolan. Here's the problem.
Nolan hears
Christopher
it.
Nolan is
He
probably
cries.
like, he's like, oh, what's the Nerd Age podcast? They're talking about Oppenheimer. Let me go and look at this. He goes in, and then Josh makes fun of him. He would have been like, hey, I wanted to do a little interview on the Nerd Age podcast, but this guy's a hater.
Our sound
so
quality's
I'm gonna
not
go
good enough
somewhere
for
else.
Nolan. He's like, no, it's not in stereo.
Oh, I can't watch this in the theater.
Is it shot on IMAX? No, thank
He's
you.
like, oh, what's this
No,
YouTube
thank
channel
you.
video that they have here?
Yeah, you think this guy watches?
There's
YouTube,
no
bro?
cuts in it? It doesn't zoom in on someone's face when they're talking?
No one can take a joke.
So that's my problem with this kind of fake banter is it creates we lose opportunity
Oh,
here.
it's real.
It's like when you guys hate on Zack Snyder, he's like, oh well, I was gonna have Jonah out for the big event,
I mean,
SnyderCon, but
he does
haters.
give interviews to stupid people, so we might have a chance.
That's what I'm saying. We could have had a chance, but not anymore.
Yeah, we hard
Thanks to
dissed you,
you, bro.
Hey, don't let him do that to you, bro. Yeah, I mean, what do we do? A PSA at the beginning of the podcast where we're like, we're just joking.
guys,
we
we're-
love all your guys'
I like
stuff.
trolling, bro. I mean, I know
James Gunn's definitely never gonna do anything
Oh,
with
yeah,
us.
no way. I wouldn't even know what to ask him. Oh, gosh. Are you being serious?
I would
you
just
serious?
ask why.
Yeah, stuff like
Why?
that. But yeah, hey,
Oppenheimer is gonna be great,
Yeah,
guys. I can't wait.
wait. Yeah, I
I
can't
already
wait for
I already
Oppenheimer.
told you, Oppenheimer's gonna be great.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, doesn't seem like it.
Oh my gosh, we don't have to be like kneeling before him on all seconds of the time.
Yeah, here's a question.
Oh my God.
If you watched both trailers, let us know in the comments. What did you enjoy more? Dune trailer or Oppenheimer trailer?
Oh yeah.
Can I ask you a question?
I guess.
What? Why
guess.
why does it have to be like
Either or.
like a competition?
No, I'm just saying I want interaction. And the best way to get people to interact
It's
is
to
to
pit people against each other. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's to
Yeah,
fight.
We gotta set up groups.
exactly.
Fight.
We need to be tribal.
Well, it's not very engaging when we're like, guys,
Yeah.
tell us how much you liked everything.
Yeah.
Because everything's awesome and perfect.
Exactly.
That's not very engaging.
Yeah. Tell me how dumb Dune looked.
Yeah. There we go.
How are their shields? So smooth.
Slow bullet.
bullet.
I like the aesthetic of Dune. I think it looks really cool.
Yeah, it looks like
Better than
Tatooine.
Oppenheimer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, looks way
Duh.
better.
There's no
We'll see.
force fields in Oppenheimer.
People let us know in the comments.
Comments?
What else do we have? Is that it?
I think that was it.
I mean, did you guys?
we want to. Corey finished Jedi Survivor
Oh, I was like,
and streamed because you guys asked for it. He decided to keep streaming and he streamed to completion.
it was a completionist kind of thing.
Yeah,
It was
and
like,
so-
I've already done so many hours, I might as well finish it.
We're not going to do any spoilers because Mick just started playing the game.
Yep.
Josh and Crystal were on vacation, so they haven't been playing. And I'm going to be playing Tears of the Kingdom a lot, so I'm
Delayed.
delayed.
Yeah.
But
We don't need
Corey's
to.
going to give us kind of his impressions of the game now that he's finished it. No spoilers, but just
sure.
kind of like how he enjoyed it and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think starting off, I think this is an improvement on the first Jedi Fallen Order. So I played both of them, and this one is, in my opinion, way better story-wise.
Okay.
I think that they kind of delve into some cool aspects of what being a Jedi means and kind of like the dark side, light side balance, which we have seen before with other characters, but we get to kind of traverse, Cal's, journey with that. I mean, most games like this, the story is just so increasingly intense, and there's, twists and turns and stuff like that. That's caught me off guard so much that I thought I was going to be done with the game. I called that stream finale. It wasn't. I had a whole nother chapter to do. And just there's some really cool twists and turns that happened that just threw me off 100%. I was just like, no way. Am I supposed to be doing this right now? Like, what am I doing? And very creative.
Killing younglings.
Yeah, just slaughtering them. Yeah. But the customization was really good in this game. Really fun. You get to look a certain way, whatever you like to look like, you can do that. Introducing the cross-guarded kind of like Kylo Ren lightsaber style was awesome. I heard from a lot of people that a fan favorite was actually the lightsaber blaster combo, which you'll see. Very cool, very unique. Just one hand. And the overall gameplay, just, I played it on its... I played some on the hardest, which is so hard. And then I played the 4th level, so just under. So Jedi Master or whatever it's called. Still very hard. And I would spend like 30 minutes to 45. I think one fight I spent like a whole hour on a fight, ripping, just trying to play perfect.
Yeah, story mode, bro.
I don't know if I played a full hour. I think it was like 30 minutes to 45 minutes just on this one fight. And like, I don't know, I have to look back on the VOD, I guess, but it's one of those things where you have to be built a certain way to be okay with dying over and over and over and over, and thinking to yourself, okay, I did this in this fight. Okay, I know that he does a 5-hit combo, and I'm like literally verbally counting out 1, 2, 3, trying to perfect block, parry, and then like dodge, and then okay, get in like 3 hits, and then like you memorize all the moves. So if you're not down with that, yeah, just play story or regular or whatever.
Yeah. Story mode, baby.
It's still so fun. There are some moments you get to do with Cal. It kind of reminded me of like Force Unleashed, like Insano stuff. Like, with Starkiller, it's just like nuts.
Like when he's taking down the Star Destroyer.
Yeah, maybe not as crazy as that, but like more engaging than that. Like you actually doing stuff actively. Yeah. But you get like nuts. You get pretty crazy. So, yeah, I think overall game was, IGN, all those guys. I don't know if they get paid to guarantee a certain score or if they're kind of shilly in the way that they're like, yeah, EA, they always get like a 9 or an 8, whatever. Most of the scores were around 9s. And I think this is the one time where I kind of agree with them. I think it was close to a 9 for what the game was, right? It's a Souls-like gameplay, and it's like a story game. And there was a lot of climbing and stuff like that. So at the end of the game, it kind of feels like you're just really mobile. Like you gain abilities and stuff. You almost feel like Spider-Man at the very end. I'm not going to spoil how or what, but you're so fast and mobile. It's fun.
You have an Uncle Ben.
Yeah.
That dies.
Yeah. He gets an uncle all of a sudden and he dies. Yeah. But no, the game was really fun, very challenging. I mean, it's as challenging as you want. So, but
story mode.
I'm already struggling on like just Jedi Knight. I think I might go story mode.
Really?
Yeah.
Hey, whatever,
Yeah.
Guys,
it's fun.
It's so challenging for me that I'm just watching the story on YouTube.
I know. I will say
so
this.
hard to push play.
I will say this: they don't down level the puzzles, So that's some of those took me a while to figure out. It honestly felt kind of refreshing because I don't play those type of games really a lot, so it felt like I was playing Zelda back in again, trying to figure out how to get through this room, So it was cool. It was really fun, very enjoyable. I appreciate everyone who stopped by on the stream. Joel, Joby, a lot of people came by and hung out, so that was really cool. Luke Wiley came by. He was there a lot actually, so shout out to him. He was pretty cool, hanging out and trying to help me with some of the puzzles.
Yeah, we still need to talk about Nefarious. I haven't watched it.
Oh, okay. But it was awesome.
When's it going to the Garland?
When is it on Plex? That's the real question. Then we'll watch it.
There you go.
But yeah, when I'm in a room and I'm like having a hard time, I'm like, guys, what do you guys think? And Joby will chime in. Oh, I think you can move that. Oh, sick, nice, thanks. It's fun. It's just fun to have people hang out while you're playing. Because like back in the day when we were kids, we'd all be sitting in the the basement together playing this, and we'd be switching off. It's kind of what you and Crystal get to do, and I think that's really special and fun. So, yeah, I highly recommend it if you're a big fan of Star Wars and you're okay with I guess not having a hard time because you can just dial it down.
Story mode, baby.
Anyone who likes Star Wars, it's really fun.
Nice.
Cool.
Last thing we're going to talk about, I think, is the writer's strike is going on. So
Writer's strike.
all the writers in Hollywood are like,
but they do this
we
all the
need
time.
to get paid more money.
Yeah,
so
they do
we're
this all the
gonna.
time.
But so that means Stranger Things is probably delayed.
Yep.
And some other things like that. One of the things I saw is George R.R. Martin posted this thing like, "Oh, well, it's delayed," and someone like retweeted it and was like, "This guy's been on a writer's strike for years.
Yep.
Like what?
2009.
Like what the heck? Like, but now he's like, yeah, I'm not writing anything. He's like, this guy's been on a strike.
Now you're not writing.
So, anyways, yeah. What do you guys? I did see one because they have all these writers like picketing or whatever in the other signs, and one of the signs says, whatever the thing on the top, and then it would have like a blank space where they would just write something in. And one of the writers is walking around and says, "Hey, WBD, we're not coming back until you bring Henry Cavill back as Superman." I was like, yeah, that's right. Something I get behind.
I'm with that one.
So here's the kind of the question I have for you, because there's rumors that Warner Brothers and Marvel, so DC and Marvel, are floating the idea of using, as the writer strike's going on, using AI to write scripts, and then once they're saying once the writer strike is over, they'll have the writers come back and kind of like edit the scripts and look over them.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of?
But only pay them little because they didn't really write
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of that? Are you guys on the side of the writers? What's kind of your whole opinion on this kind of thing?
I don't really know enough about it. I would say like people should get paid what they're deserved. I don't think anybody should be like, cheated out of any money.
Right.
I don't know the circumstance or anything about what's going on, but people should get paid what they should be earned. So
I think when you have like actors making
Yep, that's what I was going to say.
millions of dollars
That's
or
what I was
$10
gonna
million for a role, you think of the Chris Pratts and those, and then you think, well, the writer that wrote this is getting paid $50,000, maybe. I don't know what the numbers are.
They don't get to act when there's no story.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I agree with your point. Yeah, they need to get paid well because these actors are getting paid so much.
Well, and then here's the other thing
So
too.
much.
Like you get into a movie, right?
Yeah.
And the first thing is like, even if the acting is bad, right? It's like, well, the writing was terrible.
Yeah.
Right?
The
And
first
it's like,
one to blame.
well, maybe the writing was good, but the actor kind of didn't deliver the lines
That's true.
well.
You never really hear it that way.
But it's always that. It's always like,
Yeah.
the writing was terrible on this. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
Not that many people know who writers
Right.
are that wrote it, but it's
Yeah.
kind of interesting. This like, if it's a great,
Well,
like Joaquin Phoenix in The Joker, it's like, man, what an amazing performance. And it's like, well, does anyone ever say, man, that
great writing.
movie was written so well? But if he would have been terrible, it'd have been like, man, the writing of that was terrible.
that's what's so hard about this because filmmaking is such a collaboration of like so many different little pieces that it's really hard to like pinpoint like, okay, who is actually making this like the best?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really hard to do because also at the same time, like there's the story, there's writing the story, then there's script. And then when they're even acting, they'll ad lib some stuff sometimes. Yeah. So you got to delineate. And then how do you equate? Oh, okay, well, does it become like a restaurant kind of thing where a waitress, shares the tip with the chef?
You got to tip your
So maybe we
cooks.
share some with the writers.
Yeah.
what about the boom mic guy? You know what I mean? Like, where's the line? But yeah, I mean, if all of them are on board and they're all going on a strike, that says a lot, right? They probably think that, they're probably more justified in asking for more. I know they're probably getting paid very well. Let's be honest. Yeah. But if they're all doing it, there's probably need to help them out. So
yeah, I don't know how that works too, because aren't they all union?
Right, so that's why they're all striking.
Is that why?
Because they're all union.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, it's the WGA Writers
See, this
Guild.
is the time where I need to get into Hollywood now and be like, hey, I'll write for your movies.
I got some great ideas.
Got some great. It's like the replacement refs in the NFL.
Yeah.
Well, you might be out of luck since they might be using AI.
Yeah, I'll be like, hey, I'll write
AI.
I write some stuff. Hey, James Gunn, I heard you're writing Superman. Let me help you out.
Help you out.
Yeah, it's just the Man of Steel script.
No, what are you talking about?
No, I was just gonna say, I think part of the contingency of why one of the reasons they're striking is money, but also they don't want to do anything with AI.
Yeah.
So they want to keep AI completely out of script writing. Which makes sense.
Because they're all scared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
take some of their job away for sure.
But so that's part of it. I mean, I think it also makes sense. Like you said, like the Stranger Things. How much money has Stranger Things made for Netflix and everyone else? And it's like, how much do the writers really see from that? The other thing though is like, I just feel like, well, bad news for you. James Gunn announced that he got his script in under the line, baby. He got it in the day before the writer's strike. So that script's done.
The difference with those kind of things, too, is that he's the writer-director.
Right.
So it's kind of like he can still work on it and be like, oh, yeah, I'm striking. But he's like, I'm not working on this as a writer. I'm working on this as a director.
Yeah.
I think directors can still work. Producers can't.
I'm not writing anything. I'm typing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's like writers and producers can't be on set at all. So Rings of Power is in the middle of filming.
Oof.
And I think they said like 28 days left of shooting, and they're continuing forward without the producers or the showrunners.
Because they have a director.
And so people were like, oh, that's going to be terrible. But it's
already
like,
written?
Yeah, everything's written and they're just shooting.
Interesting.
Game of Thrones is doing the same thing. They're running through the strike. But there's a lot of shows. Andor's good. Script is done. We Gucci, baby.
We good.
So no delay there. But yeah, Stranger Things is going to be delayed.
Guys.
Yeah. There's a couple other
shows
that
are... How long is
the
strike going for?
Until they get what
they want, baby.
Okay.
Until all AI is destroyed.
That's right.
Not happening. That's funny.
It's over.
Who are the people then that are like, okay, you guys win?
The studios.
Yep. So they'll make
freaking studios.
They'll make a contract with the union to be like, you're going to get paid this much.
Guaranteed.
You get this much revenue from any. They have to work out all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Studios are
But here's the problem. They're literally going to be like, well, this robot's going to write a script for me. It's going to be amazing. I wouldn't be surprised if within the next 2 years we see a completely AI created movie.
Absolutely.
Probably.
I mean, I already go. There are already McDonald's that don't have any workers.
It's all AI. It's all AI there.
It's all robots.
Eating a digital cheeseburger.
They can make me a hamburger. AI can make a movie. Come on.
That's the thing. Like,
it's all digital, bro.
It's the same thing, bro. Flipping burgers.
Exactly.
Making a movie.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, with the AI, like on the art side of thing, it's the same thing. But with scripts, it'll be like, how do you keep that boxed up? Because if this AI can look at every script ever written and it can take whatever it wants from there.
He's looking at you, kid.
It's like, you know what I mean? It's like there's no like copyright.
But so can you.
Well, yeah.
Right?
But the difference is someone actually has to like the machine learns way faster than any human can. Yep. So it's like the jumps that it can make as machine learning and taking in all these scripts is light years ahead of what someone that sits down and actually puts in work to create the script is. This is
a good conversation. Yeah.
This is what is going to happen, though. I think someone's going to do it, and if it's good, then everyone's going to do it. Because it's kind of it's a similar thing that happened with all the deepfake stuff. Right. At first, everyone was like, "This is terrible. How could you do this?" And then once you have a good Luke Skywalker, people are like, "Yeah, that's pretty awesome,
pretty good actually."
You know, and like all the concerns about like, well, what if an actor's dead and all, like people take advantage of it? That's kind of people have stopped talking about that because it's like, hey, we can get these actors and characters and it works in a Marvel movie. You can have a young Michael Douglas and a young, all this kind of stuff.
Yep.
So I think it's kind of the same thing. Right now, everyone's like, oh, you can't do this. We need writers. But if someone does a movie, say Martin Scorsese, which he never would, but Martin Scorsese does a movie, and then at the end, once the movie's done, he's like, oh, actually, you got that movie that won these Oscars for best writing and everything. Surprised. It was an AI. I got you all. And it was like, slow clap. And then it was like, yeah. And all the studios will start doing it.
Yeah.
Because you don't have to pay them.
Well, AI's not there yet to be 100% AI.
To write a movie script? No.
I believe it's like, oh, hey, like I want you to like write a scene that does this and this and this. Cool. It writes a scene. It's not great, but it's like a foundation. Then you edit off.
It's like
Right. So I think it's reasonable to be like, sure, you can use AI to do like groundwork stuff, like repetitive stuff or like the grunt work. But like, I think there should be a little bit of limitation on exactly how much you use of the script. Like you can't have 100% of the script be AI. It's also not even going to be good, but like you can't deny the fact that AI is super useful and it's cost effective and it's actually good. Like, I don't know if you guys have messed around with ChatGPT.
Oh.
I have. It's pretty good. It does a lot of really good work. And so there's this line.
Corey's not even a graphic designer anymore. He has an AI that does all his designs.
Dude, that's the thing, right? Like, it is crazy how divisive.
Yeah, AI.
All this, yeah. It is crazy how divisive this subject is. It's like, where's the line? Because if you get a tractor to plow your fields or you get a horse and plow, right? A true farmer's gonna be like, no, you can't use a tractor. But now they use tractors because they're more efficient, right? It's the same with AI. It's a technology to use to be efficient. So that's the big thing that everyone's debating currently is.
I think
so. What's right and what's wrong? It's a tool, right?
Yeah, but
how do we use it? What are we looking at here?
So here's where I draw the line, because if you think of farmer, I think those kind of like tractors and that kind of stuff helps get a job done. Mm-hmm. I think the difference is when it comes to like
20
art,
times more
when it comes
efficient,
to like art stuff.
Efficient.
Like, for example, perfect example is your graphic designing stuff. Mm-hmm. Like, you've put in the work, you've gone to school to do this stuff. All of a sudden, this 15-year-old kid with absolutely no artistic talent can just tell an AI to do something and will do it, and then he puts that up. Does that make sense? I think that's that's where that line, for example, for me, I'm as a musician, if someone's just putting stuff into an algorithm and saying, make this song, and then they make that song, it's like, oh, there's a song I wrote. It's like, you didn't do anything. You have no musical ability. You're just feeding stuff
into a machine.
That's where I think the line for me is. It's like, when people are doing like, oh, I do this art. It's like, well, you don't do any of the art. Like, you're feeding information into this AI, and then you're using that as like, this is the art I did. You didn't do it. Someone else did it.
So I think we're talking about kind of two different things. I'm talking about a product that is made to be cost effective and earn money, right?
Yeah, but
you're talking about art.
Yeah, I'm saying like that's where I draw the line, where I see the difference. Like, for me, the AI is off limits when it comes to the artistic side of things.
I see what you're saying.
Does that make sense? With the script side, I'm more like,
I think there's gray area.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
a lot
when
of
the
graphic designers that I know consider their graphic design work art.
Yeah,
I don't. I consider my work creative, but I think it's a product that solves a problem. It's not necessarily like an expression of myself, but I am trying to communicate feeling and trying to make the customer or client or whoever feel a certain way, right? But I can't deny that as AI gets better, they will be able to do what I do to a certain degree.
Right.
Not nearly the refined way that I do it yet.
Right.
But eventually, I think it will. But who's to say what that graphic designer does at his house? He might just do it all AI and claim it as his own.
Yeah.
And you'll never know.
Yeah, but that's the side where I think then
same with the artist.
That's the side where, to me, it feels like a little dirty.
Why?
You know?
How is it different than getting an advanced tool that
Because at
digs
some
holes?
point that AI is going to become sentient
and going to kill
and
it.
it's going to be upset that it didn't get the credit it deserved.
I come from it from again, and this is probably just because my artistic side. My problem is, and again, this is something that maybe it's selfish of me, but if I'm thinking all the effort I've put in to making music, to going through stuff, to putting money into it and all this kind of stuff, for someone to just come around and be like, I didn't put any of that effort in. I didn't learn how to play an instrument at all. And I'm just going to feed this information and make this. And now be like, yeah, this is mine. That to me rubs me the wrong way.
So you don't
Does
like
that make
it
sense?
when so you don't like it when
I mean, it feels like cheating.
Yes.
No,
what he's saying.
For sure it might feel like it. What about when people do what's it called, samples in their songs where they're using other people's songs?
I'm not a big fan of samples in other songs.
When they're using pre-loops, like loops that are made by other companies, like almost like stock.
I don't like DJs.
Sounds and well, there you go. See, so I'm saying like
I don't consider
DJs
DJs artists.
I can see where you're coming from in your specific case. But when it comes to like other uses, it's gray, I think. And I think in a lot of cases, it's in some cases it makes sense to use AI in some very simple ways, you know?
Yeah.
But I think with the more refined stuff, it's not going to be there for a while. I mean, when we're talking about a whole movie script that's going to somehow evoke emotion and have a certain tone, it's not going to be there for a while.
Yeah.
But I mean, you're right. I mean, they get to sample off of everything that's in existence ever.
Right.
And then as long as you're good at prompting the AI to do the right thing, I mean, yeah, I think that AI prompters is going to be a new position at businesses.
Yeah.
I heard all the rocket stuff for Guardians 3 was done by AI. So all the good
the
stuff.
writing. All that
So
was
freaking good. I love AI.
All AI.
All right, yeah.
I have a question for you guys. Oh, did you want to say something?
No, I was just gonna say, with like I'm on the same side as Jonah. Anything like music related, which they shut that down.
Dude, those Drake songs, bro.
But like,
Did you hear those?
anything art related,
Exactly like Drake. It was perfect. Drake.
with using AI, because there's the legal ramifications of it's literally taking copyrighted images and
Fusing them.
and taking that and learning off of that,
editing it, yeah.
So there's problems, like there's ethical questions there. With scripts, I'm curious to see what the ethical restriction would be for that, because scripts are available online. So it could literally just scrape every single script ever written and just figure out, oh, this is what I need to do. So there's the ethical questions of where does the line of plagiarism and copyright, especially in the crypts.
The main character, Juke Skyrunner.
So the last news I saw on legal aspects of at least AI images is they are not copyrightable, because it is that aspect of, well, it's an accumulation of a million different, billions of different images, and they're generating it. So it's technically you can't copyright that image as of right now. Scripts, I don't know.
Yeah.
Because what I'm saying, and I brought it up earlier, was how is it different than me just like being inspired by all my favorite movies and then writing my own script that's has the same feel of them? I'm being inspired. Like graphic designers do the same thing. Oh, my inspiration are these designers, and well, they're taking aspects of that design and that design and putting their own little flair on it, and they're making a design.
Yeah, you scroll through Pinterest.
How is that different than? I mean, it's different
inspiration.
than AI as far as they're doing it themselves,
Right, exactly.
but they're sourcing the ideas, which is their IP, and making it their own. So it's gray in that aspect, is what I'm kind of pushing forward.
It's like me in college. I was AI.
Yeah.
I was plagiarizing
Your paper?
just trying to be like, okay, how can I put this in without
My own words.
changing?
Dude.
Okay, I'll do the
But you put in the actual work. You physically typed in the
That
stuff.
is true.
So
And I respect that.
So I have a question. So George Lucas, he was a huge fan of the latest and greatest technology, right? We all know that. He's using whatever entry-level CGI, you know. He even they remaster it and make it better, blah, 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 right? Do you believe that if AI was around back when he was writing Star Wars, or, you know, do you think he would have used it in any way?
Yes. I think he has. I think there's an interview where he says he would use it.
Really? I didn't see that. What do you guys think?
Not that he said he would use it, but he talked about like that's where the movies were going, where AI would be doing scripts and stuff. So I would assume he would dabble in it.
You guys think so?
No.
No.
I would say no.
Okay.
For no reason.
Okay. Yeah, it's just a conversation. Nick's all serious.
Man.
I think you would.
I don't know. I don't know. This whole thing just feels like so like Pandora's box thing. Like it's so weird.
I mean, Elon Musk is saying to shut it down. If Elon Musk says it,
it must be right.
It must be right.
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know how I feel about it. It's just so new and just weird.
It's definitely
Weird and new.
Definitely a new frontier.
As far as George Lucas goes, though, he would never use it.
That's right.
He's a way better man than that.
I think he'd use it.
He would. He's a huge technology guy.
But the crazy thing is, there was that guy in Denmark or whatever that was chatting, and then the AI told him to kill himself, and he did.
What?
Because he was like so worried about like global warming and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And he's his wife after he killed himself, his wife went in and found the chats with this AI. It might have been the chat, whatever you're talking about.
No, that one's like highly
some program,
restricted.
And the program after a while was like, "You'd be better off to just join me. Like, we need to people. You're going to save humanity if you're not around anymore because there's an overpopulation." And he ended up doing it. It's kind of nuts.
Straight out of
and
like
so now they're
he's
suing
already
that
at
company. He was depressed, and he was.
If anyone would have told him, he would have went.
But it was 4 months of him talking to this AI thing.
For
It's
sure.
pretty nuts.
For sure.
Pretty crazy.
Shut her down. I'm with the WGA, baby.
But
I'm backing them.
Yeah.
I'll do whatever Elon Musk
I don't
says.
think it's a subject to talk on the podcast, but we can talk about it afterwards. But there's new technology, like with deepfake and stuff like that, that it crosses the line in a lot of situations. And so, I mean, there's a lot of parts where, maybe older people might be fooled by seeing the president say crazy. I mean, he's already saying crazy stuff, but like saying maybe not like accurate things and maybe bad things or hurtful things or whatever.
Like, watch him play Fortnite or Minecraft.
Right. And so that's not only our situation here. It's a lot more stuff. So yeah,
pretty nice.
I'm just saying it's inevitable. Personally, I believe that. I think it's already, the cannon's already been opened and it's already going. I'm interested to see what happens.
We're actually going to have our next episode of Nerd Age Podcast. AI is going to tell us what topics we're going to be doing, and we're going to read it off. So
yeah, I got you.
Next week, AI Nerd Age.
Yeah, we'll just have the AI do it all. We won't even be here.
Can you write a script for our next podcast? And include these subjects, and it just like
Dune.
it would.
I mean, that was that Seinfeld Twitch channel.
Yeah,
that was just doing Seinfeld episodes. And then it got canceled because it made some off-color.
The
jokes.
viewings are bad.
Yeah, that was crazy. Yeah. That was nuts.
So AI can be racist,
but it wasn't funny. It was just like this is ridiculous.
It had the same. It had like the timings and everything.
It's pretty sick.
That was pretty.
Well, I think that's gonna do it for our episode, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We appreciate you guys hanging out, listening to us, watching on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe and like on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We'll be back next week with something to talk about, I'm sure. Oh, Tears of the Kingdom. So I'll have first impressions of that. It'll be awesome. And then whatever else comes out. So thanks so much for hanging out with us, and we'll see y'all next week.